Hey, what's up? It's your boy Canales, and I'm going to do this version of a Spanish spoken video that I just uploaded and that some people showed some interest on. First of all, I don't know who this Ash Skid person is, and it's not important. I just using her tweet to watch this video and comment on it. I did a Spanish comment on this video because some of my Facebook friends are unironically retweeting or sharing this on Facebook, and I thought that to be extremely dumb because these people have their own run-ins with feminists and overall progressive zombie drones. So, as I said, that this person isn't important, so please don't contact her, I don't know what that is. I don't care. It's just a quick way of getting this video streamed. So let's commence, shall we?
Nazi.
Wie bitte? Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
Na, Sie sind doch einer.
Was für eine Unverschämtheit. Nur weil ich in der NSDAP...
Yeah, alright. Okay. Nazis, just as communists and as all totalitarians, have this thing by which they don't try to hide what they are. They are proud of what they are because they see themselves as the good guys. They see themselves as the master ideology. Both the Nazis saw themselves both as the master race and as the master ideology, because Hitler was an ideologue. He wrote a whole book on this ideology, and Nazis consider themselves to be smarter than the average guy, just as communists, just as all fanatics. They think of themselves as the smart ones, as the enlightened ones. Hence why? Well, this is why they don't feel ashamed. On the other hand, the people who really dislike Nazis, for example, us Basques, because we had during the early years of World War II and our own fascist uprising, we had one of our major cities bombed by Hitler's Air Force. So really, we Basques don't really like to be called Nazis. That's probably why we would reject being called Nazis, because we don't like them. That's probably why most people reject being called a Nazi, because they don't like Nazis. Disliking Nazis doesn't earn you a medal. No one likes Nazis. Fucking moron. Anyway, let's move on.
Und in der SS bin ich noch lange kein Nazi. Wahrscheinlich bin ich auch noch rechtsextrem, oder was?
Ja, aber was sollen Sie denn sonst sein?
Ich bin vielleicht...
Yeah, all right. I would like to know which level of conservatism wouldn't be considered extreme, because all I see is extreme right-wingers, extreme ultra-nationalists, ultra-right-wingers. When do you cease to be regular conservative and become extreme? I don't know. Is there like some kind of quality control that you have to fail to be considered extreme? I mean, which is the level of conservatism acceptable? Is saying, I really dislike the idea of abortions on demand, or I really think that I don't know, people shouldn't be allowed to marry their pets. Is that like extreme? Is that moderate? What is it? Because there's apparently no difference between upholding moderately conservative ideals and saying, I want to kill all them Jews. I don't know. I really would like to know though. Continuing.
Der Bürger, der Angst vor Überfremdung hat. Aber ich bin nicht rechts. Und ich bin
yeah, no. Foreign domination. Well, this is a huge strawman, isn't it? I don't know about you, my American friends, but in our case, in the case of Spaniards, Basques, and overall Europeans, what worries us is not foreign domination. It's not the fact that the people who are taking over our culture and our countries is foreign. Is that they come from certain particular countries with a certain particular ideology in a certain particular religion. I'm sure you know what I mean. Some of us descend from people who were foreigners in other countries. My parents migrated to Belgium shortly after Franco, not shortly, in the 60s, after Franco took over Spain to look for a better life. They did so legally. They did so by jumping through the legal hoops and doing the paperwork and all that, and they became naturalized. So it's not the fact that they're foreign. It's the fact that they come from certain places where human rights are non-existent and human life is cheaper than a wooden dollar, as we would say in Spanish. That's a problem. We have no problem with the foreigners. Actually, I think that my country, Spain, right now, even though I'm Basque, politically I'm Spanish. At least until we get around 1776, know what I mean? But yeah, fuck, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I was going to say that I think that Spain could actually use some foreign influence, some maybe first world influence, some probably American, even if it was French. I think French and Belgians and all that are culturally superior to us, so I wouldn't really mind them like colonizing us and teaching us some manners. But no, the problem that we have are not foreigners, are people from a certain ideology that that kind of like to run infidels over with a van. I'm sure you know what ideology I'm talking about. The ones that throw gays off rooftops, which is something that we don't do here. That's what really worries me. It's not the fact that they're foreign, it's the fact that they like to do that kind of shit and that they're entering without any measure of control into my country. And they have turned some places that were heretofore civilized, like train stations and parks in the biggest city nearby used to be like really nice places. Now they're fucking war zones. You can go there during night. They recently beat the crap out of some old guy jogging at 6 a.m. to steal the phone, to steal the phone from him. That crap didn't used to happen here, and now it happens all the time. That's what's worrying us. Moving on.
Nazi. Sie da? Sehe ich etwa wie ein Nazi aus?
Nö, würde ich jetzt nicht sagen.
Na, sehen Sie? Aber der ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, hm? Nazis, 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 lauter Nazis. Wenn einem die Argumente ausgehen, dann holt man schnell.
The thing is that this guy is like being ironic, but that's actually the truth. I mean, apparently there are Nazis everywhere now. We've been all raised on a steady diet of Nazis being villains, of watching Raiders of the Lost Ark, and The Rocketeer, and Red Skull's a villain, and Hellboy, and whatever the fuck not. But apparently everyone likes Nazis now. Apparently there's some kind of Nazi resurgence, and nobody knows why. There is no real reason, right? It's just like in the 1930s. I mean, everyone became a Nazi overnight just because. Just because. It wasn't a disproportionate response to anything, right? You progressive assholes, you communist cocksuckers, didn't do anything, right? You didn't cause any disturbance. You didn't attack anyone. You didn't threaten with overthrowing the government and starting your own dictatorship. Not at all. Not at all. It just happened. And it's just happening now. Nobody knows why.
Mal die gute alte Nazi-Keule raus.
Es hat doch nichts mit Nazi-Keule zu tun.
Sie machen sich das Leben sehr einfach. Nur weil jemand die
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Because when you call someone a Nazi, you don't actually have to debate him. You don't actually have to argue why he's wrong and you're right, which is something that, again, you progressive assholes cannot do. You cannot win a debate because you're dumb.
Meinung nicht teilt, ist gleich ein Nazi.
Aber Nazi sein ist doch längst Mainstream. Ihr Nationalsozialisten...
No, wait, sorry, what? Being a Nazi is already a mainstream? What are you trying to say here? Does this somehow apply to what's happening now? I thought the BBC and the CNN and Star Wars and Marvel Comics were mainstream. I thought you were in control now. I thought you progressives. I mean, you've been boasting about it. You've been boasting about how now you control the media, how you control Star Wars belongs to us now, Mad Max belongs to us now. We're taking over all this shitty patriarchal media and characters and whatnot. So please make up your mind, because this is like the new Star Wars trilogy. Can you at least make up your mind about is the rebellion the Force in control or is the Empire? Because in the first movie, you stated that the Empire remnant, the Imperial remnant, or whatever the fuck it's called, is like this tiny terrorist cell that launches like surgical strikes every now and then, and that the rebellion is actually in control. Now in the second movie, the Empire reigns supreme. Can you please at least make up your mind? Are you the minority or are you the majority? I really like to know. Are you mainstream or are the Nazis mainstream? Please make up your mind, right? What the hell is the button? Oh yeah, here it is.
Der Macht. Ach ja, ich vergaß. In ihrer Welt sind ja alle Nazis. Der Führer ist wahrscheinlich für Sie auch ein Nazi, was?
Ja?
Jetzt reicht's aber. Führerbeleidigung. Mitkommen.
Das sind jetzt über...
Ja, ich weiß.
Yeah, well, okay. Thanks for killing the stream for me. I think that's enough. Remember who tried to make criticizing feminism illegal? You remember that, right? You remember what happens in Canada when you make fun of feminists on your Twitter, right? I mean, why are you accusing people who actually defend freedom of speech? Because this is what you're doing, right? You're covertly accusing alt-right nationalists of using Nazi methods. Well, you're the assholes throwing milkshakes over people because they want to run for public office. You're the one trashing a university because a British homosexual Jew wants to give a talk about freedom of speech. You're the one punching Jeremy Hambley, a YouTuber, on a con because he thinks that tabletop gaming is fine as it is. I mean, what Nazi methods is the alt-right Nazis using? They're marching on the streets. That's not illegal. I mean, that's not Nazi methods. Nazi methods is tagging the authority in every tweet you make in the hopes of having that authority deplatform your foes. That's Nazi methods. Using the authority, using the power of the state, using the power of the corporations to destroy your enemies. That's Nazi methods. Calling you a fucking idiot, which is what I'm doing right now, is not a Nazi method. If anything, that's speaking the truth. So, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. This video is shit. And everyone who shares this unironically should feel bad about how dumb they are. Okay, I'm gonna go back to drawing because boy Zach just emailed me and told me what he needs for the current page. So stay awesome.